The thing is, I don't think this gives them enough unless Dawn and Coddle crush the lane and kill Meepo a few times, slow down the timing. I don't think it gives them enough in that 20 to 30 minute window that we're talking about, but if Liquid can somehow hold on to the very late game, like having that Ags and all that extra sustain while PA jumps on these targets could be the difference maker, but it's going to be a tough early game.
Yeah, maybe the idea is just pick comfort, prolong the fights, prolong the game until you get to a point where Meepo has Ags and then PA is building up, you know, a ton of crits on the Meepo. Damage. Yeah, because the thing is, Meepo, it's like you want this AoE because he's Meepo, right? He summons a bunch of clones. But in reality, with the Aghanim Scepter, the thing, like Troll Warlord is one of the best counters to Meepo because you kill him, single target, right? You can kill him through the Ags. So maybe that's the idea here from Liquid, is they're just picking heroes where they can go late game and have Mickey carry the game.
I think this game is a really tight timer for Liquid. It's basically, they have to win the early game really hard because I think that, like what Mira was saying, that 20 to 25 minutes, pretty much impossible for Liquid to play the game. And so they need to win the early game just so that they can survive the impossible state of the game. And then they can win the late game. The late game's so close.
Yeah.
Basically, they have to win the early game so they don't lose. Like, not even to continue winning the game.
They flexed Hunka to offlane, so it's a mid Beastmaster, again on no one. It's going to be an early pipe on DM. Where does the damage come from until PA is strong? All of their damage is going to be coming from Storm and Macropyre, easily countered by a pipe.
Liquid are on a timer for this game, hoping to buy enough time to make this Bryle prove his worth as stand-in. And that means that we have our game number 3, North Carolina. Are you ready? Then let's get into it.
Game 3 is upon us. Parivision versus Liquid, elimination on the line. And when you're about to be eliminated, potentially, Cinderin, you got some balls to pick Meepo. I'll tell you what. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not their first pick of the tournament, though. This has been... They've had this a couple of times when they've liked the conditions for it, and I gotta say, this is looking like a really good Meepo game when they picked it. And the last pick from Liquid, the Dawnbreaker, it's hit or miss. It can be good against Meepo on occasion, but it's not one of those obvious historical counters like Elder Titan or Shaker or Wyvern. It's a lot more reliant on having a strong laning stage. Well, and the good news for Sableye in that regard is, well, he's in charge of it himself. He's going to be laning against the Meepo. So if he wants to win this game, he needs to do well in lane, and I'm with the panel. I think this is the type of game where if Liquid falter in the laning stage, it's difficult to see a path to victory. If they come out ahead, they can weather the storm in the mid game, then their late game is definitely very potent.
Yeah, no one gets to play his Beastmaster again, and we saw what happened last game. That was a disgusting performance, in a good way, of course. And DM's Kunkka adding extra tankiness to these Meepos. When the boat comes out, like all of this together with obviously Tinker heal, along with the defense matrix. It's going to be a lot to get through for Liquid, and Satanic will show himself. He's going to take a full Starbreaker actually to start things out. It's blinding lit to the other side as well. He will find this move speed to get away eventually, but he's going to be in the lane very injured.
Fortunately for him, he is laning with one of the few heroes in Dota being played right now that has a heal in the laning stage, in the Warlock. Kalis doesn't skill heal here. That goes to show you just how good Fatal Bonds is. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, okay. And they have 2 heroes that heal as support, so going to show how much they're buying into this tanky strategy.
Yeah, the Radiant lineup is pretty big tank. Nice press on 9 class.
This is a lot of damage as Mickey is going to force out the Fairy Fire onto 9 class, but this looks to be a death one way or another. First blood for Mickey and Team Liquid.
Yeah, this is the best lane for them in terms of matchups. I think the Jakiro PA lane is extremely powerful. And Kunkka Tinker needs a bit of time. They need a couple of levels to stabilize, so well done to Liquid for exploiting the weakness of that lane very early on here on level 1. We've already seen the mid lane played last game. It was pretty much a draw. No one pulled slightly ahead because you got first blood. Not happening this time. I would assume they're just going to go neck and neck there. Bottom, that's the biggest wild card for me. Like, I would think on paper the Dawn Coddle lane should be able to do quite well against this, but the problem is the way Dawn Coddle usually win their lanes is through consistent harassment. You got Warlock. He's going to heal up the Meepo every time they try to put pressure, such as now. Out goes the heal.
Yep, he's going to Starbreaker as well as 9 class taking a lot of damage in the top lane. He's going to pop the Fairy Fire, the Lotus, I should say, to live through the day. Saberlight. Looks like he's going to die, though, to Satanic's hands. So you talked about how this lane is kind of an unknown. So far, advantage Parivision.
Yeah. I mean, this is such a good Meepo game. If he also wins his lane, seen Satanic's performance on this hero already. I'm also concerned for Liquid if that lane goes poorly, so they got to recover it. Of course, they are playing with Coddle, so they can choose to make stacks. Dawn is actually quite good at farming said stacks. Pretty similar logic to the Coddle tanking offlanes that we've seen. DM, though, in trouble.
Yep, Torrent not going to hit.
We'll be backing off.
So just a little bit of chip damage from the Liquid side, as Ducalis was the one taking a beating bot. To be a bit careful, and Satanic did go for the more Meepo facet. Gives you faster levels on the Meepo coming out. It's secondary Meepos, I should say. Have you seen the other one? What is the other one?
Well, it used to, the popular one used to be Pack Rat, right?
That's not a thing anymore, I think.
Right, so now you have Codependent.
Oh, right.
Which has, I think, had a really disgustingly high win rate in pubs and therefore got nerfed. It was the one that gave you more attack speed and armor the more Meepos were close together.
Yeah.
And I think it got cut almost in half. It used to give, I think, 7% attack speed and 2 armor, and now it gives 5% attack speed and 1 armor.
That is a nerf.
So yeah, he's still going for this one, of course. Now that he's level 3, he has the 2 Meepos.
Fatal Bonds. One of the more disgusting spells in lane, of course.
Yep. I really like the word disgusting today. Did you have an okay day?
Haven't eaten yet, so everything's disgusting right now. Raleigh in the mid lane, we'll be seeing Storm on him again, 14-3, as no one 19-6, a little bit of advantage for him. Earthbind's onto Boxy, Starbreaker, not enough, as Boxy actually ends up dropping to Ducalis. Warlock, definitely one of the more annoying heroes to play against in the laning stage. DM, I think healed up in 9 class, but Insania and Mickey want to finish the job as Bryle actually gets solo killed in the mid lane. That is a much bigger kill to talk about. Insania does drop here. So 4-1 advantage for Parivision already, but yeah, that mid lane, we saw the CS advantage for no one, and he's putting that to good use in a solo kill.
I feel like that's just not allowed to happen. He killed the Storm at level 4 in a 1v1.
Here we can see the replay. Man, he is really deep here. My goodness.
Yeah. Diving between the I mean, again, this is kind of, I think for Bryle as well, maybe slightly uncharted territory. And sure, he played against it in game number 1, but there might have been a couple of little things that went differently there that didn't this time. And then that's when experience really starts mattering with, have you been in this position before?
Yeah.
And getting dove behind your tier 1 tower like that by a Beastmaster level 330, not exactly what you're used to, a Storm Spirit. So he's like, should I call in support? Am I actually fine?
And when no one hits 6, Bryle just can't be in lane, I feel like.
Yeah, that's actually, he could solo him behind the tower.
The good news for Bryle is the supports on Parivision not exactly that fearsome as in terms of ganking potential with the Tinker.
The bad news is he's level 4 against 6, and he got roared.
There he goes. Boars are going to slow him to a crawl. Boxy's here, though, with the blinding light. Will that be enough, though? The Boar's still doing a lot of damage. And Ducalis is here as well, and he actually snipes the kill from no one. Either way, another death for Bryle in the mid lane. Not the greatest for Liquid, and this opens up the bottom lane for a little bit of harassment onto Saberlight.
And as we pointed out, Parivision don't have the best ganking supports, but if all you need is a 50 damage, then Warlock can come in and press 1 button, and that'll do the job, right?
You just right-click, that's all.
Put a Fatal Bonds and hit him once. That was enough. To add insult to injury, Liquid rotated both supports to try to help, and still lost.
Yeah.
So now we've got the Jakiro as well as Coddle on a little bit of a detour.
This
now the 6-minute rune, you cannot just give this to Beastmaster. This is a strong one. He's going to take the tower and force rotation again.
With the rune spawns. The Fatal Bonds comes out.
Case top 9 class will grab it and start chasing. Okay, this is ambitious.
Show his prowess. This is out 1 spell, at least Saberlight, though, in his triangle. He's going to get earthbound by Satanic. Just a hammer away. Another Earthbind comes out. Meepo. Star broken now. I think he might be able to get this kill. Actually goes to the south, and Boxy from the north will assist in the ways that he can.
Satanic will not get the kill, and Saberlight will live. But the state of this game is Liquid are trying to put out fires everywhere.
Satanic,
the whole map is burning.
no one. Aurora onto Insania by the tier 1 tower. That's a freebie.
Trying his very best to get the last hit in
The only silver lining here is because all these spells are being used, it looks like it will be a trade of wisdom runes.
Yeah.
Or shrines, I guess they're called now.
Pretty thin lining, but you got to look for those right now.
I mean, that could have... we've seen games end effectively with the wisdom shrines being taken by one team. If this happened for Parivision, I mean, that would have been super rough.
If they also get 2 wisdoms here, then you're effectively like... You have nothing going for you for Liquid for the next 5 minutes. This way, they at least have a chance. Browl's about to hit 6. So he's unlocked, and he's, fortunately for him, in a bad Storm game, like when you're struggling, at the very least, if you're playing with Caudle, that can cover some of the gaps. Yep, X mark.
X on to Mickey with the Torrent to follow. Earthbind comes up. Nice ice path from Insania. Here comes their Golem. Ducalis level 6 already versus Insania's level 4. That's the position 1 and 5 dead for Liquid. And this is so close to just being a complete snowball for Parivision.
Yeah. This will be Liquid's biggest challenge of the entire tournament. I think this game state, honestly, the game state now, it's harder than game number 1 when they were furthest behind. In that game, you could easily see, okay, if they pull this really difficult thing off, they can turn it around. Right now, they have so little to work with. Dawn isn't even 6 yet. You have a Storm with almost nothing. Your carry's a PA, she's gonna need to farm. Your support duo doesn't play make. So, this is like, this could just flat out come crumbling down if they don't sharpen up very, very soon. 8 minutes in, about to be a 4,000 net worth lead. They even have a fat stack here while crushing all lanes. That's the power of a Warlock that gets a couple of assists. He got an assist down bottom. He got a kill together with the Beastmaster mid. So Black Grimoire, level 6. 2 kills to boot from that one.
Yeah, that was a super strong power spike. Tier 1 tower will be defended, but Liquid in dire straits right now. Question is, what can Mickey get out of the map at the moment? He will be going Battle Fury, which is no surprise. It's pretty much a given. You have to go for this.
I think the way you play this map right now is you try, either you play defense, which is very difficult, granted, against this lineup, but at the very least you have Blinding Light and Dawn ulti. So if you get Dove in towers, you get some counterplay. If you want to play offensively, I genuinely only see one play, and it has to come from Bryle. So he needs to jump someone, you Dawn ulti in, you combo it with maybe a Jakiro spell or 2 and get a kill. But even those heroes combined, I don't know if you can kill a hero like Beastmaster. No one has 2,000 HP minute 9. Like, how are you going to kill this guy?
Yeah.
It's a tall order when you're low on damage and you lose your lanes. Dota gets really hard to play really fast. If they can make some magic happen here. Levels will be the name of the game. Insania is level 4.5 on Jakiro. He's got a lot of growth to be coming. Boxy close to 6. Maybe some Spirit Form recall plays could be a way of outmaneuvering Pari as well.
10-minute treads for Bryle just completed, just to show the state of affairs right now for this mid laner. One level 9. His 9 class will be creating some space with the Martial Machines, and this is a free tower finally for Parivision. The in coming in as well. It's his combo at the ready, but Bryle, Spidey senses tingling a bit. I mean, that's the one thing for Liquid, I suppose. Silver lining is DM didn't go super crazy in lane. His net worth is roughly about what these other cores on Liquid have.
He had the toughest matchup for sure.
This team. But this is bad for Liquid. Yep. Parivision taking stacks that were supposed to be for the Liquid side.
And unfortunately, Liquid probably knew that was happening, and they just can't do anything about it. They can't fight. Their 5-man is not nearly strong enough, so they're making the right call giving it up. If you want to make moves, it has to be skirmishes. The map has to be split thin so that you can find 2v2s and then outnumber with a Dawn ulti. If you're in an area where the enemy team's already set up, advancing into a Warlock level 7 already and a Beastmaster and the Tinker, the zone control is incredible. Harder. And they recognize it. They're just going to take towers. Like, what are you going to do about it?
It's a 3-tower advantage already, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. It's no one getting ever so close to his Aghanim Scepter. Satanic in the meantime has the Dragon Lance and will be an eventual Aghanim Scepter. Oh, looks like he's going the Diffusal first, actually. It's done.
Yep. Fast Atos on 9 class. Storm for the PA. Keep them a little bit in place to allow something like an X Mark to reach, or an Earthbind, or Aurora, of course. And he's straight up queuing up Dagger afterwards. Notice how different of a school of thought this is for Tinker from what we saw from Insania last game. I'm not going to say one is better than the other. It's just very, very different way of approaching the hero. 9 class is playing full offense. His next item is Dagger. So no...
Liquid have to get something out of this. Satanic is going to be popping the smoke. There's initiation from Bryle. The Skull of Guardian coming in with the Starbreaker to follow. Down goes Meepo, the biggest kill he could possibly get for Liquid. Oh, but the Fatal Bonds does connect onto several heroes. Can they catch up is the question. No one from the low ground needs to catch someone. To get the Atos onto the Jakiro. As Duval is looking for a good target for his Golem. Saberlight actually TPs out into the trees, so all they get is the Jakiro in the end. So a good fight there for Liquid, able to kind of spread Eagle for the most part. They just spread in every direction, and they only lose one as a result.
I think this is very telling for the game state that they 4-man smoke there and use Donald to kill one hero. They needed to, they felt like they had to bring everything to make sure they get the Meepo there, and after they get fatally bonded, they have to just immediately disengage completely. Fortunately for them, a good disengage. They found a good way into the trees to TP out a couple of heroes and only lost the one, but didn't really progress the game with that.
We got the Blade Mail now for DM.
No one is about to get Ags, and he's farming the enemy Ancients minute 13, and he's not worried at all. Just full up. Because he's Insania is drawing the circle here. He's like, we have to get control of this area, because otherwise we're just getting full-on out-farmed, and he's correct. How are you going to do it?
Will this be the play for Parivision with this timing to go for the Wisdom Shrine now on this side? We'll see if they prioritize that. I mean, they have everything but Roar up at the moment.
I think the perfect play right now is get the enemy Wisdom Shrine, prepare for a 15-minute Tormentor, and then go straight Roach. I think you can get all 3 objectives back-to-back.
Yeah.
The alternative is this, which I thought maybe they would do because the Ag's timing is so good to just make this play immediately.
Cheeky move from Insania, though.
Just straight up go for Roche. Man, yep, they will.
They will actually get both potential,
Wisdom.
Although you can see Saberlight a little scared to go for his own.
Yeah. I mean, they might think Parivision is there because, well, they're not on their own and they're not showing on the lane. So are they just setting a trap? But no, it's the Ag's reveal to immediate Roshan.
Man.
And yeah, they could Tormentor in 1 minute. And before that, if they want to check a Wisdom Shrine, they can. The end of the world for Parivision if they get neither of them. They're so far ahead that it's not important. But of course, it is still nice.
Blink almost done for 9 class now. As Liquid showing in the top lane. Like they'll be backing away, but yeah, I do agree. Tormentor coming up, that is gonna be the play. Parivision.
It's straightforward.
And Liquid, no way to really engage into this. I mean, it's not even just about that worth lead right now. Let's look at the type of team fight that Parivision has. It is so difficult to fight when these are all up.
And this is, I would argue, this is when Dota is the easiest to play. It's like
when you're up 7K at 15 minutes.
You just look at the clock and you can plan a minute ahead. Like, okay, we want to do this in 1 minute. We want to do this thing in the next minute.
Yeah.
Because you know that as long as you're grouped up, you're kind of impenetrable. So you just choose what objective is the most important one for you next. Now, I wonder, okay, 9K lead, you've got the Aegis, you've just got the Shard. I think you just take top tower, and you take mid tower, and then you take bot tower. Unless you're feeling that strong that you just try to go for a lane of barracks already, I think that's a little bit crazy and completely unnecessary. So I like to just see Parivision do something like this. You know, a 4-1 split, you keep Meepo on one side and the others on the opposite side. And play around the fact that Beastmaster is easily the strongest hero in the game right now, especially with an Aegis.
Yep, Liquid don't want to touch this. This is a one-man army right now. He'll be finishing Blink relatively shortly as well. I mean, the Illuminates are pretty annoying to deal with. He needs creeps off so that the push won't be nearly as effective. No one, not going to be too bothered.
No, he's got another wave coming now, so he can start going to work. Of course, the Coddle will do his best to defend, but actually he recalled himself away.
Yeah, and he's getting the blink delivered to him now, so this could be a good reveal timing for no one as well in the tree line. See how much he cares about that.
He's tired of the coddle. He's trying to cut behind him, but Boxy one step ahead, already left. They did the macro pyre play to defend that wave, but now the next one's coming. What is Insania going to do about this wave?
Yeah, these are the rat-type tactics that we're used to seeing when teams are down heavily at this stage of the game. One will show the blink at the tower, doesn't really care if they can see it. And Saberlight, he's going to be spotted by 9clash as a warp player on the Saberlight. He's able to use the Solar Guardian to get away, though, to the top side of the map. As Bryle going to try to focus on no one. That is a very scary proposition, my friend. Ice Path not going to hit. A little bit of mana coming out. It's Chaotic offering as well to ensure the death of Bryle. No one. Remember, he has Aegis. He is surrounded, though. 1 versus 4. Can they kill him? I'm not even sure. We'll see. Ice Path, Mickey with the Phantom Strike. And they do get him in the end. Big kill for Liquid. It does cost them Bryle. That is Aegis down and 1 Beastmaster life as well.
I mean, that's the biggest win they could have had all game.
This would be even bigger as 9clash shows up as the Warp Player at the ready. We're like, it's a nice stun going out, but the Meepo just destroying the call. Nice ice pack coming out from Insania as 9clash, a nice torque on the 2 heroes into the boat as DM shows up just in time. They're going to lose the Tinker, though. Another beautiful Starbreaker. The Meepo's super low. Satanic is dead. Somehow Liquid are living through this, and DM to his own devices. I say that as Ducalis is there with the Shadow Word, though. Do they have the catch? Hammer's on the cooldown right now. Okay, we'll get one slow. The X onto Saberlight, using that shard to full effect to dodge it, essentially. Down goes Ducalis on top of all of that. I have no idea how Liquid are finding kills, but not too shabby at all.
This is such an important moment for them. This should be the hardest part of the game, and they're staying afloat right now. They were 10k down, now it's 7. I mean, it's still not a great lookout, but the fact that they just spread a little bit too thin on Parivision, right? Liquid took advantage of the fact that Parivision were farming jungle. I think they were farming jungle and 2 heroes, and then they made an aggressive move up top with Beastmaster +1. So while the Beastmaster is incredibly strong and almost managed to solo the Storm and got a little bit of help from the Golem, Liquid just outnumbered them. They just TP'd heroes in, they used recall. Got to be a little bit careful on Parivision not to drop the ball here. You've built yourself an incredibly strong early mid game, and all it takes now is to not slip up, spread yourselves too thin, and let Liquid get a chance to come back.
Insania spotted by the Lotus Pool. Warp Flare. Such a weird spell. Roar comes out from no one to ensure that this is a dead twin-headed dragon. Excuse me. My goodness.
Hardly knew her.
Poor thing. Oh, the lead has gone down from 11 to 7k.
Yeah. Big item alert here, Kunkka. Coming up. The panel was talking about this. What are you going to do when DM has pipe and he plays together with Meepo? So this is the next level of challenge now for Liquid. They passed the first trial. Now comes the harder part. Because now Parivision are likely not going to make the same slip up, at least not in the same fashion by spreading that thin. And they have more tankiness to boot this time. So, still, uphill battles to say the least for Liquid. Parivision get to keep playing the map and keep farming. We've talked a lot about the Beastmaster and the Meepo, but keep in mind, 9class is going to be the 4th core of this game. He's going Blink, Atos, Ags. He is going full carry Tinker. Yeah, that's another problem you have to address.
Super scary. He's already almost halfway done with the Ags as well.
He's
so
very rich.
This won't be
He's got
too
the
far
green
away.
Saberlight
shows. Saberlight gets to the high ground, but the Chaotic Offering used. And this will be a dead Dawnbreaker. Cost them the Chaotic, so pretty long cooldown, but they can use the Golem to push, of course.
Pretty big kill. He was dominating, so there's some bonus cash from that one. And the timing of this play from Parivision probably gives them both wisdoms as well. We're approaching 21 minutes. Oh, 9class.
Oh, he gets the Warp Flare. Beautifully done, making pop the BKB. He's going to try to turn this on 9class. As DM will show up with the boat, making everyone tankier. Mickey, the BKB was activated via the X. As Bryle barely gets away with no mana. Boxy taken out, though, by no one. Bryle,
College, look at the clock.
pretty close to X time. Can they actually get this combo off? Indeed. Down goes Bryle again. Parivision showing up in numbers, and it works out quite well for them.
Silver lining there for Liquid. Ducalis did not look at the clock, so he actually ran away from the enemy Wisdom as it was active.
Oh my.
So they will get this. That's at least something. They absolutely should have lost both shrines as well. Now they'll at least get one of those for some experience, and that's nice for Mickey, closing in on level 18 for the higher level of Purigas for some potential chance of killing this Omega Meepo. As we know, we've already seen Satanic showcase the Scepter. Yeah, and you would imagine the next Aegis will go on him. The last time they had to deal with Beastmaster, Meepo in mid-game generally tends to hog that Aegis because he's so difficult to kill the first time, and the second time he has such an amazing impact when he respawns.
Saberlight, Roar is there. DM at the ready. The BKB is already popped from Saberlight, trying to get to the other side to his fountain. He'll find it, but the X to bring him back. No one's stuck on the other side, though. We'll have to try to run away while taking some burn damage.
I think DM pulled him back a little bit too early there. There might have been a play if he let it go max duration. Actually, I think he probably did. Never mind. That was not possible. It was close. With the change to X mark making it 3 seconds instead of 4, I don't think that was possible in that instance. The old X might have got him. If nothing else for Parivision, they still continue to run the map. They are the ones forcing defensive BKBs out of the PA, out of the Dawnbreaker, shoving in the waves, but Liquid stay afloat. You know these late game PAs can get the job done. That's a big item alert though. Yeah. Dude, he is massive. He has the same net worth as Saberlight.
Is more than DM
on 9 class.
Position 3 on his team, for God's sake. Absolutely ridiculous.
Anchor in a nutshell. Oh god.
Smoke from Liquid.
They'll find DM. Do they want him though? They're not even choosing to jump on him. He's too tanky.
There's only so many targets that are not tanky though.
Yeah. You gotta pick someone, but
Ducalis would be a nice choice if you could stun lock it.
break the smoke and back off.
Roche. Bryle soon, but the Roar comes out onto Bryle. 4-step outside the Solar Guardian. Bryle though has enough mana to zip away. Chaotic Offering using the counter initiation style Saberlight. He's gonna be caught off guard. He'll pop the BKB. Trying to find somebody. Ends up being kind of a waste though. No one's already popped his. Mickey as well. No more golden item for any of you young lads. Ice Pat's gonna clip DM. Everyone's dodging these spells right now. Finally, the Aethos Head is a single target spell, so you cannot miss it. Tidal Wave back. Blinding Light. Doesn't matter. Finally, a kill. That is Insania going to his grave. There's no creep wave, so the backdoor protection's there for the tier 2.
That's really big once again for Parivision. You reduce the PA BKB and the Storm BKB and the Dawn, all three. The big item of the game that's Liquid's kind of hope to stand their ground against the onslaught that Parivision is bringing. It's dwindling by the minute, and now Roshan, of course,
about to spawn.
Parivision know it's possible, and they're more or less timing this perfectly.
Leave the boar in there.
Okay, that's very unfortunate. As a matter of fact, might want to leave the boar in there, but.
Yeah, but then you get less farm, Cinderin. Don't you understand?
That's true. I mean, the maximum respawn time was approaching, so a little bit of a blunder there, but they can afford...
Maybe no one thinks he has the old Hawk that could be sent to that location. Mickey gonna be found by 9 class, or is it the other way around? That's the Aghanim Scepter being showcased, of course. With the laser, no one coming in with the Roar. 2 versus 1 now. Another laser to follow suit. Getting extremely low. The Ice Pack, though, into the Phantom Strike. Mickey actually finds the distance. Even a Blood Grenade used at 25 minutes. Mickey barely dodges the axes, but in the meantime, Bryle is caught off guard. Has to pop the BKB and retreat again.
That's a really big heads-up play from Boxy to recall himself into that play. The PA looked as good as dead, but he buys a little bit of time with a Blinding Light, and they connect the Jakiro for the Phantom Strike reset.
And Mickey didn't use BKB at all during that, by the way.
I think he didn't have it.
It was on cooldown?
I think it was still on cooldown from the previous. I think so, yeah, because, I mean, Parivision are playing hyper-aggressive. They're trying their best to not give Liquid a single lane across the river. Okay, well, they will get the bottom lane across the river, but it comes at a cost.
Roche number 2 for Parivision.
And it will indeed go on to Satanic. This is one of those... No, he's got Ags, he's got Disperser, and he's got Dragonlance, soon to be Blink. This is when a lot of Meepo games end. The upcoming fight for Liquid. The last one, unless they execute it properly. Bryle.
Oh, we got the Solar Guardian being used. Actually Boxy stuns 3 targets. Is 9 class taking the brunt of the damage. Already at half HP. The blinding light in a retreat though, and this means that's going to isolate the Caudle. The Boxy takes the tumble. No way to get back in this game. There's no one in company. Yeah, they're just getting everything on the map right now.
Team Tinker, looks like they don't need to bring the Meepo, so they can stay out on the map with him and keep some aggressive presence. They're a wonderful hero to have for this. He has a heal and a barrier. Can do it with just the 3 of them, and Dakalis also has a heal, so he can get back up to full if he wants. 16,000 the lead. Gotta say, in all 3 games of this series, Parivision has just flat out played better in the early game. Yeah. Every single game. And the first game, Liquid made a kind of heroic comeback in that one. It's not a viable strategy to have to come back every game.
It's the
Definitely don't want to be in this position.
It's the old Eternal Envy strategy, of course.
Missed out the Manta, have to BKB.
Torrent is there. He's already at half health, has to BKB in retreat again. Does have
nice
target
flick on his Manta.
Yeah, that's very nice.
It's something.
The fact that you have to go Manta on a PA never feels good. The laser is really annoying. The Earthbind's super annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, it provides extra targets for the lure, I guess, but feel good.
And Stania's dead.
Stania by
Goes to cast the on the side lane.
That's not allowed.
Yeah, that's a mistake, apparently. Just don't play your hero.
Scotty's next for Satanic. Has 3 minutes on this Aegis. I assume that we're going to be seeing this high ground push very shortly. Do they need to get a pick off? I feel like not. I mean, it would be nice, but...
They don't need to, but I think it's the best way to play the game is to not brute force in 5v5. I don't think it's necessary. You should be gaining 500 to 1,000 GPM more than the enemy team just from raw lane farm and map control. And of course, this is, again, the luxury about Tinker. When you're winning like this, he can farm the jungle that you don't want to be in and still be present in the fights. So all of this dead farm in the Radiant jungle when you're playing offensively with your other 4 heroes, Tinker can go and grab it whenever he wants. You keep scaling. You keep controlling the map simultaneously. We also haven't talked about this, but he has the luxury of teleporting onto Beastmaster summons, right? So you can even strategically place a boar to make sure that 9 class can always connect to the fight and the location you want to play.
Now it's you. My goodness. Very sad to see Insania die 7 times without a kill.
Yeah. It's tough.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
We've been seeing the other facet a lot on Jakiro, the attack one.
Yep, true.
He's using the Ice Path one this game as Satanic will be dispersing himself. Get closer to Saberlight, who will have to BKB TP, and Night falls away successfully. Nightfall with a little tear in his eye, wherever he is.
Uh-oh, Bryle. Oh,
okay, a
no
little
one greedy there. Cast the access switch, but Bryle actually BKB'd anyway.
Oh.
On his way out. Maybe it was a 6-seconder already, then it kind of doesn't matter so much, but well, now it's down to 6. The PA BKB down to 6, and the Dawnbreaker BKB, also down to 6.
No.
Yeah, that's concerning side of Liquid, among other things in this game. Such as the odds. They're kind of concerned. 101. I think it's accurate, though. Kind of not much to hold on to here for Liquid unless you get some sort of ridiculous team fight going, but the enemy lineup it's just stalwart, you know?
No one goes to the high ground, forces more mana to be used from Bryle. He can just go back to the fountain, but there's the first fortification. Shen's banner is placed, though, so these creeps shall not die quite yet. Stania needs to try to aggro them a bit, but then he puts himself in a precarious spot. Satanic will rip through these buildings. Lightning Light can be used to full effect here. Building down. Now focusing on the range racks. Do they try to defend this? Do they wait for a little bit more farm? They're going to get the attempted initiation here, but they're going to turn around to Caudle instead. He's dead right off the bat as Saberlight found on the other side of the map trying to use a Solar Guardian, but already 2 supports are dead in your base as 9 class actually forced in rotation of Mickey. Finally they get the stun via Bryle, and they will finally take out the Tinker, but how much will it cost?
9 class is keeping 3 heroes busy while they lose their base.
22k lead for Parivision rather. Aegis is down though. How defensive or how passive do Parivision even want to be without the Aegis? Feels like they're in the driver's seat.
I really like the discipline of backing off with Tinker dead. I think it's the right call. You can debate whether it was the right thing for 9 class to do to keep the Heroes fighting him at bot half instead of being with his team, because maybe you could just end it by sticking together. But either way, they recognize how important the Tinker is. So
Every time no one blinks in, someone BKBs.
there's that woof again.
Yep.
Need the woof lore.
Maybe Lyrical can ask what that's all about. Hopefully that's appropriate for broadcast, though, so be careful, Lyrical. Do they wait for Roche, you think? It's still quite a ways away.
I personally think it's fine to do that. Most important thing is that you don't start playing passively while you wait for Roche. Just keep pushing out the lanes, keep playing on the enemy side of the map, keep placing aggressive vision. Eventually, stuff like this is going to happen. This time,
yeah,
he does
no
not have
BKB this time.
He is gone.
Tinker coming into play. Oh, the congregations up there deep wasn't quite enough to save El Saberlito.
He's dead for 70. Now you don't need an Aegis.
Very true. 5v4.
Satanic even has a shield.
Yeah, he's got the Scotty. He has a shield rune. Pretty dirty stuff. And the nullifier was on Saberlight, by the way, but like you said, dead for a minute. This building destroyed, so second set of racks. Likely going to be taken. The X mark into the Torrent. Foxy into the title box of 2 heroes. Running Light's not going to be enough. Foxy dies in an instant. As Brown has the BKB. This is the last attempted stand from Liquid. Everything being applied to Mickey. Has the Satanic Beast pop healing to a high degree, but has to try to get away. Nice ice pass on the several heroes again. But the buildings are dying here. Tidal wave on the 3 heroes. Mickey getting right down. Mickey gets the Phantom Strike, but it's too late. Down he goes again. That's 4 dead for Liquid, and Parivision will win this game number 3.
He told you, Saber said DM. I guess it's a reference to the reference of the Satanic. And well, what can you say? This game. Look, it's your mom.
Oh, hi there. Hi, Mom.